guys.
Hello to Thrive in the Arena episode
5.
And guys, today is, oh my God, every time like we have this thing, but today is one of our most favorite people that we have the honor to know, to call a friend. And his name is John MacGregor. And John is one of the world's best financial advisors. So he's extraordinary. He's a man of integrity. He is super smart. He has a big heart for contribution. And he is one of the 10 basically biggest financial advisors like in America. This man lives by integrity. Everything that he's going to share today with you, I want you to have a pen and paper and write everything down, because your financial future depends on today. And also, if you have like your family sitting close to you, sit everybody together, because this message today is so important, and you're going to thank him for the rest of your life.
We actually met John 1 year ago now at Wealth Masters Tour with Robert Kiyosaki. And from the first moment that we heard this man, there was just something that connected heart to heart level. He's a person that truly cares about people, and you're going to get that as soon as we bring him on very soon, that he speaks from the heart, and he's here for you guys. He's here giving his time now, his precious time, to teach you about basically the 10 reasons the rich go broke, and not just the rich.
Not just the rich. Absolutely. And why this is so important for us, especially, I'm going to get a little bit vulnerable here. So our backstory with Vicky and me basically is we grew up rich, and due to unfortunate events, the household provider, our dad, went down. He had a heart attack, and we lost literally everything. And we didn't know what to do back then. We didn't have a person like John, like Robert Kiyosaki, like Success Resources, who are like so supporting us. And we love you, Mama Chu and Success Resources family. And you know, we didn't have this type of education. So what you're going to learn today really is so crucial. And we want to share with you that we don't take this lightly. And we are super honored to welcome our dear, one of the world's most favorite financial advisors, John MacGregor, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. It is such an honor to be on with you guys live. This is just awesome. I'm just so thrilled to be here with you guys today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
So, John, can you share a little bit about your story, like who you are, and yeah, a little bit of your backstory with us?
Absolutely. And first, I must say that when I met you guys and you shared your story with me, it has stuck with me ever since. I mean, it's an amazing, powerful story. What you guys have gone through with your family, personally, and then what you have become as a result of that. It is just absolutely inspiring, and anyone watching this should really learn more about your story, because it's such a life changer for so many other people. What you've gone through and now what you've become, it's inspiring to me. So I'm just so glad we've been able to connect and grow our friendship, and look forward to working together with you guys more going forward. So in terms of my story, I've been in the personal finance business for, going on 25 years, sadly to say. And I've really seen this investment world, this financial world, really from all angles. I mean, I've worn a variety of hats, both as a very successful financial advisor, to working in institutional consulting, pension consulting, retirement consulting. I was a national sales manager and national retirement director. So I really kind of circled the globe in this world. And, you know, I've developed a lot of best practices over the time period. And what I realized is, you know, the amount of time spent with individuals. I probably sat in front of thousands of people of all walks of life, very wealthy and those that are not so wealthy. And it took me a while to figure this out. But the more information that I was giving clients, the graphs, the charts, the financial plans, all that stuff that I was doing, and the strategies and the tactics and the tools that we were laying out, and their absolute assurance of their commitment to the plan eroded as soon as they left my office. As soon as they left my office, they were back to the same old habits, back to the same old mistakes. In fact, they were on, once we laid out this financial plan and the strategies, they got all really serious. We high-fived, we shook hands, we hugged, and we pinky swore that we're going to stick to this plan. As soon as they left my office, they were onto the electronics store to buy a new flat screen TV on a credit card, right? All that planning we did just went out one ear and went in one ear, went out the other. And what I realized is that all this information, the traditional methods of helping people with their personal finance situations do not work. It doesn't work at all. The only way to affect real change is to get inside the mind and change the mindset that people have around money. And that's what I've done. For the last 5 years, we've developed a program using the latest research in neuroscience. And we've developed a 7-step process that literally transforms people's mindset around money. And the goal is so that people have a healthy relationship with money. Because right now, most people in society do not have a healthy relationship with money. That's the key. Most people are using money to dull their pain and not fulfill their purpose. That's the missing link. And that's what we've created is a system, a process. It's a journey that we take people through. It's a 7-stage process. And it's absolutely transformational. And so we're really excited about that. And just really can't wait to get it out there. Because like I said, I came from the financial planning world. Telling people what to do and what not to do with their money does not work. It doesn't. There are hundreds of thousands of personal finance books available. And a lot of this information is for free on the internet. Everyone knows what to do with their money. They just don't do it. Why? Because they're trapped in their mind. Their mind is controlling their behaviors. And so that's what we want to stop. And like I say, if information was all we needed to change, we'd all be rich, skinny, and happy, right? We need more than information to change our behaviors. And there is no change in our behaviors unless there's a biological change in our brain. So sorry, I could go on forever. I get excited about this subject. So just cut me off at any time.
No, please keep going.
No, please
keep going.
yeah.
We need that now more than ever.
Yeah.
John, what would you say like to people right now who literally lost it all due to the coronavirus? How can they get back on their feet right now?
Yeah, great question, and I'm glad you asked. So I'm hearing from a lot of people around the world by email and social media posts, and I can feel their fear, their uncertainty, their concern. Their desperation, and you can just sense how people are feeling vulnerable right now. And I'm really, it's really made me think hard, and I'm feeling the pain. And what I will say is, it's not if, it's when we get out of this. The world is not coming to an end. This is not apocalyptic. We are going to get through this, and I strongly believe we're going to get through this a lot stronger than we were. I think it's important that people realize that the media is going to keep this going as long as they possibly can, right? Because that's how they make money. They make money on click revenue, social media, and eyeballs on the screen, right? So they're going to keep us glued to the screen as long as they possibly can for their own self-serving interests. So I think it's really important. One thing is I think a lot of people need to turn that off, turn the noise off, because that constant pounding of negative information constantly pouring into our brain can have a real negative result in our mindset, and so I think that's really important to remove themselves from that. But in terms of how do people get out of this right now?
Yeah.
Well, I think the obvious is staying positive, right? But for me, what I'm doing is I'm staying as extremely busy as I possibly can. I really amped up my daily schedule, my rituals that I have. Rituals is something that I talk a lot about. But I've really amped mine up. So I'm getting more done than I've gotten done in a very, very long time. I'm getting books, I'm getting through books, podcasts, and videos that I need to watch, and I'm getting projects done that I haven't been able to do for a very long time. My goal when I get out of this is to come out full stride, all cylinders. And so I'm emerging in this really well and really successfully, and I'm using this time productively. I'm learning a lot. I'm reading a lot. I'm meditating, I'm practicing gratitude. My exercise routine is just off the charts. And so as a result, I'm not bothered by a lot of this stuff right now. And I know I'm going to come out as a much better, healthier person. And time is just flying by. I mean, I can't believe what day is lockdown? It's like day 40 of lockdown or something like that. I can't believe it. It's like yesterday we went into lockdown. So I think it's something that a lot of people watching this should really keep in mind is just get busy and get productive. And we could share with some other things that people could be doing right now financially that could really help them. So I hope that answers your question. Yeah.
Absolutely, thank you, and it's so important. I love how you say to use this time productive and to have and to stay busy, because it can go like the wrong way. So thank you so much. Davey saying focus, 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 as you said. Thank you, Davey, for that. So important. Yeah.
And you've been also in the season, you said you're staying busy. You've been writing a book as well. So we know that it's coming out very, very soon. So could you share perhaps with people one of the stories from the book that would be relevant to this season and can help people out right now?
Oh, I'd love to. In fact, here's an older version of the book. I'm now excited to say we have international bestseller across the top of the new book. So we're really excited about that. We were in Asia last year in November. I was with Robert Kiyosaki in the group, and by the way, this is Robert's idea, this book. So he came to me with this idea, and I just ran with it. But
love Robert.
He's one of my best friends, and I'm just honored to have him as a friend, and Kim as well. And it's been an amazing relationship. But just amazing people. But we were in Asia last year, and the Success Resources had amazing event organizers. Those guys are just incredible. What they do work around the world is just phenomenal. I mean, the life-changing, not to get sidetracked, but the life-changing things that they do and providing people is just incredible. So anyway, they had the book printed in Chinese, and then a publisher of mine in Japan published it in Japanese. And I think we sold 4,000 books in less than 45 minutes. So it was really, really exciting.
45 minutes, 4,000 books?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's amazing.
It was crazy, yeah. I think the message is resonating with people because although this book is about the rich going broke, we all love those stories, right? The alluring rich and why they went broke. But the real message, the underlying theme is why a lot of people go broke, or not necessarily go broke, but why a lot of people struggle financially, and why a lot of people cannot live the life that they dreamed about and the life they deserve to live. So that's really what the book is about. It's 10 really kind of emotional, powerful stories that may leave some of you in tears at times, of people that I knew or was associated with that really were living just an amazing life, but then for certain mindset issues, which we can talk about, lost everything. They're just train wreck stories. And so I think people are really looking at this going, wow, learning from other people's success is smart, but perhaps learning from people's mistakes is genius. And then especially learning during a crisis that we're in makes you invincible. So I think that's why this book hopefully will be well received in the US, and the English version's coming out May 26th. So just over a month. And then we'll have the Spanish version following thereafter. So so there's a lot of stories. I think there's a story in there for everybody. I think people will be able to relate to most, if not all, the stories, but I think there's probably a story in there that really hits on somebody's emotional triggers for everybody. And it's male, female, young, old, rich, poor. I mean, it's demographic neutral. So I hope people will pick it up, and I hope they'll enjoy it. Yeah. So.
Absolutely, thank you,
Yeah.
John. What would you say like to a person who in this season they're not equipped with the right mindset, right? They're not equipped with the right mindset. What strategies can they use so to go out and to make it happen, to thrive in this season?
Yeah, great question. So In fact, this is really the cornerstone of this book. And what I will say is that people have what they need right now to find success financially. It doesn't necessarily come from the external world. They don't need that podcast or that book or, whatever it is. They have it in them right now. It's just been buried. It's been locked in their mind, unfortunately. So the first thing that people need to do is unlock their mind. I know that sounds kind of cliche or sounds too easy, but it's absolutely true. And here's kind of what I mean by that. So the primary reason people are struggling financially and struggling in general in life is a belief system. It's a limited belief system they have. If we speak specifically about money, most people have a limited belief system around money. Now, our belief system is something we've accumulated since we were born, basically. And we've accumulated these beliefs on every aspect of our lives, whether it's politics, religion, relationships, school system, money, whatever. And people have accumulated these beliefs, and by the time, some people say by the time they're 7, some people say by the time they're in their mid-20s. But when someone's very young, that belief system is basically wired shut. And it's our beliefs that force us how we act, how we think, what we believe, how we behave, and ultimately who we become. So our beliefs drive everything. Our beliefs really are what causes our destiny, right? So changing your beliefs, you'll change your life forever. The problem is most people's beliefs, research tells us that most people's beliefs, 70% of our beliefs are negative and disempowering.
70%
are negative and disempowering. And when you consider that on average, we have 50 to 60,000 thoughts per day. An average person has 50 to 60,000 thoughts per day. Most of those thoughts are negative. Most of those thoughts are focused on the past and projecting our past on the future.
Yeah.
Running constantly in our brain. We're basically recycling ignorance non-stop all the time. It's running in our subconscious mind. And our subconscious mind controls 95% of our thinking, of our behaviors.
Wow.
So when you think about 95% is going against 5% of our conscious mind, that's a very, and most of those thoughts are negative and disempowering. It's a very powerful force to work against. So our mind is like a computer, right? It's a program running nonstop based on these beliefs we've accumulated. There's nothing wrong with people. They simply have a virus in their mind that needs an antivirus software removal tool, right? That's all. No scalpel required, right? So going back to beliefs, these beliefs that drive everything in our lives, who we become, and our ultimate destiny. If we can get to the heart of your beliefs, which are running in our subconscious, it's a game changer. Like I said, change your beliefs, you'll change your life forever. So what I like to tell people is the first thing to do is focus on these beliefs that are limiting you in your financial life. So the first thing I ask people to do, and this could be a real eye-opening moment for a lot of people because they're basically changing the way they've been thinking their entire life. Write down all of your beliefs you have around money. Just take some time. It may take a couple of days to go through this list. And let me give you some examples of these limited beliefs that may help people.
Yes.
Money's the root of all evil. The rich are greedy. The rich get richer while the poor get poorer. Money's too complicated. I'm not good at math. Look, by the way, I'm living proof. You don't need to be good at money. You don't need to be good at math to be good at money. Okay. I need to dress the part. I've got to have the new car. I've got to have the fancy flat screen and the new watch or the handbag. Like I said, money's too complicated. I never learned this at school. I never grew up with money. And the big one I hear all the time, John, I don't have time to deal with this stuff, right? We all have time. So these beliefs are running our lives in the background. We don't even know it. We're not even aware of these beliefs. And they're basically destroying our possibility, our opportunity to thrive. And that's why, again, it's so important to really focus on these beliefs. So what I suggest people do is write down all their beliefs they have around money, use some of those as an example, and really go deep on these. Then look at each one of these and slow think this, process this over time. Where did this particular belief come from? You may realize that belief that you're looking at may have come from somebody that really didn't have your best interests at heart, or maybe it may have come from a negative place early in your childhood. That moment alone may go, wow, oh my gosh, I had no idea I was carrying this belief that's driving all these bad behaviors. Yeah. The next thing you need to ask yourself is this belief 100% true? That might force people to go, oh my gosh, this isn't true at all. In fact, this is a lie I've been telling myself about this belief. Do I really need that brand new shiny car to succeed? No, that's a lie. Is it really complicated? Is personal finance complicated? No, it's not. Again, these are just lies and excuses we're telling ourselves as a crutch to prevent us from making the right decisions. And then the last question I want people to really slow think on is, what would your life be like if this belief didn't exist?
Wow.
And take some time over this, and just the awareness of, I'm being redundant here, but just the awareness of these beliefs that are running your life in the background can really be an eye-opening moment for people, especially now in this environment that we're dealing with. And people have a lot of downtime now, and I would just, as we said earlier, take the time to go through this exercise. It could really be a game changer for a lot of people. And by the way, I got to give credit. This exercise, which I tweaked a little bit, came from a very well-known author and psychologist, Byron Katie. And it's just a really powerful process that people should incorporate. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you. For them, in this season also, there's a lot of people that have like solopreneurs, we can call them, that have their own business, but they're one man or one woman business. So maybe these people right now, they feel like they don't know what to do. They don't know how to get out of it, and they feel alone. So what are some strategies perhaps that you can share with them on how to come out of this?
Yeah. Well, there's a couple ways to answer that. I mean, there's the kind of the mindset approach to thinking differently in these times, and then there's the practical approach of what to do. And by the way, we call this above the line, below the line. And above the line is really thinking about your vision, where you want to be, how you foresee yourself in the future. And then it's your mission or your purpose in life. What are you passionate about? What are you focused on? What do you get up in the morning for? Again, what's deeply meaningful to you? And then your goals. What are you laying out to do on a step-by-step basis? So those things are sort of above the line. Mm-hmm. Below the line are the practical steps. These are the tools, the strategies, the techniques, the tactics that people do. The problem that most people get into is they're all focused below the line. Everyone's looking for that quick answer, the book that's going to save their life, the event that's going to transform their life, the stock they're going to buy, I'm going to get into Bitcoin, or all of that stuff is below the line. That doesn't affect change at all in anybody. Where people need to focus is above the line. That's where change really happens. That's the mindset change. So for those solopreneurs, and there's a gazillion of them, right? And they're all just trying to figure out what's going to happen next. And I feel their pain, believe me, and the desperation that people are going through, wondering, are they ever going to emerge from this, right? Is their business going to survive? How are they going to take care of their employees? And just the emotions that are going on right now are just immense. So the question I think people need to be asking themselves is the activities they're doing, are they above the line or are they below the line? I'm not ignoring below the line. The below the line is very, very important. But if you don't address above the line, below the line is not going to work for you, and you're just going to be running on a treadmill nonstop. So part of the below the line is looking at your belief system. And we can talk about meaning and purpose if you like, but from a mindset issue, I think people need to just start thinking about their business and how to overcome their particular business in this type of environment. There are always solutions in crisis, right? We just need to be creative in how to do that. And I think if you have a mission-based business, which is to serve people, you're going to thrive in this environment, actually. And people are going to seek you out for what you do and what you offer. And so I think that's a critical mindset to have. Below the line right now, what I'm telling people is now is an excellent time to get organized financially. There is a direct correlation I've seen over the 25 years of working with people. I've worked with a lot of small business owners on their business, and there's a direct correlation between financial disorganization and financial devastation. Too many times people come to me as a new client and they come into my office with a shoebox, or what I call a junk drawer of financial statements and documents and contracts, and half the time the information is missing, right? I'm sure we can all, you guys are smiling, you can all relate to this, right? We've got paperwork all over the place, right? And everything just gets shoved into a drawer. And so there's a direct correlation between that chaos and financial struggling, pain, and anxiety. And just that alone causes a significant amount of stress. Yeah. And stress is something we don't need right now. So this is a great time for people to get financially organized, get your documents in order, and I'll tell you, it'll make your life, you'll feel so much better about yourself. You're taking action, you're relieving stress, you're getting organized, and just now being aware of everything in one kind of comprehensive place can really help a lot, especially now going forward. So those are a couple of things that I'd be doing right now. In fact, I've got on the website, there's a free resource, which is just a one sheet how to organize your financial documents that people can download for free.
I'm gonna put up the website up for everybody to come and have a
look. Oh, cool. Yeah. There's quite a bit of free resources on there to kind of help people. There's that organization tool. And then the other thing that I think people should be looking at right now is the legacy book that's on there as well. And it's really about not leaving loved ones unprepared. It's really organizing your entire financial life in one document. It incorporates everything from key contacts, your attorneys and your CPAs, to where are certain documents? Is there a safe deposit box? Where's the spare key to the house? How do you want your funeral to look? Yeah. Are the wills done and the trusts done? Life insurance policy. It's a real comprehensive tool. Names and birth dates of people, where people were born. I mean, it really, when my mom passed away 5 years ago, it really helped us out a lot, because she included a lot of information that allowed us, and instead of scrambling to find documents and information, it gave us that time to grieve and celebrate a life rather than scrambling around looking for documents. So that's another thing that I think people should be looking at and start filling in. It could really help people. So yeah.
Absolutely. This is so important. And this made me think of people who maybe had like 10 employees, 20, 30, 40, or 100, and they needed to let them go. And sometimes they're also like spouses who are not, they don't know how to support their spouse in this, or like family members. So your resource is great for all the family to be aware of where what is. John, what would you say to a person who had a larger business? Who was like out there making things happen, and they needed to close the door of their business and to let go of a lot of people. How can they find again meaning and purpose in this season without being in shame and blaming themselves? What can they do right now to thrive and go out of this season?
Yeah, it's so hard. I mean, not only on the employees that have been let go or furloughed, or their hours have been significantly cut. This is extremely hard on business owners, right? Many of whom view their employees as family members, and now they got to say, hey, I can't pay you anymore, and I got to let you go. I mean, it's just, having worked with so many business owners, I know how close that relationship is between the owner and the employees, and it breaks my heart, actually, knowing what everyone's going through. And, you know, we all talk about the greedy business owners and so forth. And that's just, in my opinion, that's just not true at all. These people care very, very much about their employees. I think communication is really important now, and communication from the employer to the employees, just keeping them updated on what's going on, being transparent and just being forthright with the situation at hand, and letting them know how they feel and, you know, what's going on in the business. And I think that can go a long way in really continuing that relationship instead of just cutting it off and walking away from the situation. So I think that's really important. I think now, and I just put a piece out on this that I'll send out to you. Now is a really important time to practice gratitude. I don't think there's any bigger holy grail in the midst of crisis than a gratitude practice is right now. And I've really made that a focus of my daily schedule now, is just spending some time on those things that we're grateful for. It's hard to be upset and unhappy and sad when you're in a state of gratitude. Gratitude neutralizes negativity and negative mindset. So the more you can practice, program your brain to be in gratitude, the better off you're going to be in these times, at all times, but especially now. Research tells us that we all talk about gratitude. Everyone says, "Oh yeah, whatever, gratitude, yeah, that's really cute, right, John?" You know, but neurologically, it's a very powerful program or process or strategy to incorporate into your life. In fact, you know, I've gone through some really traumatic things over the last 6 months that have just been devastating. And it was practicing gratitude that really helped me emerge from a lot of the sorrow that I was dealing with. And what I actually did was I programmed my iPhone that every hour it would alert me to take a minute and just think of what I was grateful for. And over time, I don't do that anymore. And the reason is because I'm now in just almost a constant state of gratitude, because it's like a muscle training your brain, right? The more you practice gratitude, just the more it becomes natural to you. And it's really changed my outlook on things. And, you know, I don't get easily irritated. I see the good for what it is. And so I think the more people can practice that, the better. And the other thing to think about is research also tells us that we say, hey, practice gratitude. So, okay, yeah, I'll think about things that I'm grateful for, right? Running water, my family, my health, whatever. That's not as effective as taking one thing you're grateful for and then spending some time and going deep on that one thing.
Oh, I like that. That's right.
Totally different than just thinking of a variety of things. Take one and then go deep.
Wow.
And there's a really powerful research study out of the UCLA School of Psychology that showed that people that did that had far greater results than those that just thought of a variety of things. So that's something to consider. So, you know, other than practicing a couple of these techniques and strategies, I mean, it's just time of hunker down, stay positive, you know, do as much learning as you possibly can. Start looking at what other people are doing successfully, how they're re-engineering their business to survive. And, you know, I'm looking at some creative things these restaurants are doing in my town in order to sustain themselves. So there's always ways out. There's always ways to get through this. So yeah. Wow. I hope that was helpful. Yeah.
Wow. So what are they doing? What are these restaurants doing right now?
Well, I mean, anything from a small sandwich shop, they're delivering food, or they're offering groceries, or you know, they're coming into your house to help. I mean, they're doing a lot of just things outside of the box. Like there's a brewery, they're selling beer outside on their sidewalk, you know, and then delivering, and so, you know, there's some things that people are doing that are just helping keep the lights on as we get through this. So yeah,
that's amazing. And as you said before, like being creative, being creative is so important. Thank you so much for sharing that.
You're very welcome.
John, there's like, right, especially right now, on online, there's so much information out there where everybody's like giving a lot of advice and things like that. Why is it that it's getting worse and people are getting more and more broke instead of using the information that is out there?
Yeah. When I started this Thrive business 6 years ago, 73% of people were living paycheck to paycheck. Okay, that's an enormous number. And that's not just in the US. As I've traveled the world, I've noticed that it's everywhere. In any developed country, most people are living paycheck to paycheck. Fast forward to today, 6 years later, it's 78% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. The problem is getting worse, not better, despite all the information, as you said, available to people for free on the internet. The problem is people have been programmed to fail financially. This is, again, going back to the mind. It's a mindset issue. They've been programmed. The school system failed them because what did we learn in school about money?
Nothing.
I took a home economics course in the 8th grade. I learned how to make chili and a pillow. Now those things helped me in college. But they didn't do anything. They didn't do anything for my future, right?
Yeah.
My real first introduction to money was my first day on college campus, and I showed up at the student center, and what was I greeted with? Credit card companies that couldn't wait to give me free money, and if I signed up then, I got a free T-shirt. I thought I just won the lottery, right?
Wow.
And so that was my crash course in money, and it's the same for so many people. I mean, we're bombarded with credit card offers, free money. Then you have the financial industry, which really is the industry in charge of helping people with their money, but they're really only interested in helping those people with a lot of money. A small percentage of people that have money to invest in a financial product or service, sadly. The financial industry is not equipped to really get at the core of why people are suffering financially. It's pretty amazing. The financial advisor community they ignore cash flow. They ignore budgeting. All they're focused on is investing people's money. And that's fine. That's the business model. You just need to be aware of that. Then the other big thing that's really emerged in the last several years is social media. And social media has really destroyed the fabric of our society in the sense that it's really it's forcing, almost hypnotizing people to have bad behaviors. When we see our friends on vacations or driving nice cars and doing all these exotic things, neurologically, biologically, it almost forces us to lean in, and we want that too. It's the old keeping up with the Joneses, right? The problem is the Joneses are broke too. So I think it's the perfect storm. It's the combination of those three things that is making things worse. And so many times people come to me and it's like, John, should I get into real estate? Should I do multi-level marketing? Should I buy Bitcoin? I'm thinking about, and they run off and they chase doing these things. They spend a lot of money getting into real estate or whatever it is. Their mindset wasn't straight. And then 6-12 months later, they've lost a lot of money. They're more frustrated and depressed than they were before they started. And then they come back to me 12 months later and they go, well, John, that didn't really work. What do you think about this? And they're just chasing the next rainbow, right? They're just chasing the next pot of gold without really getting their mindset right, which is the key. You've got to start above the line, as we talked about. Yeah. Then once that's set, then you go below the line. And that's where all my time has been spent and research is spent, is developing this above the line 7-step process that we take people through, that preheats people. It gets them ready to engage in real estate or multi-level or Bitcoin or day trading, whatever it is. But until your mind isn't set, you're just going to be chasing your tail. You're going to be on that treadmill to nowhere. That's where people go wrong. That's the missing piece. And that's the paradigm shift that we're trying to get people to realize. You can't just sign up for something and expect magic to happen. It's just not going to happen unless you have that right mindset. So,
wow, this is so powerful. And if we think of this 78% of people who are living paycheck to paycheck, what would you say to a person who has this like desire inside of them that they always wanted to make things happen? They always wanted like to go and make things happen in life, but they were stuck living paycheck to paycheck. Is there any possibility to get out of it in this season?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. In fact, now's the time to get out of this.
Oh, wow.
Because people are in a dark malaise right now mentally. They're depressed, they're down, they're sorrow, they're feeling guilty, they're feeling bad for themselves, they're feeling desperate and uncertain. I mean, I hear it a lot from people, and it's tugging at my heartstrings.
Yeah.
But what's in the way of them emerging? It's here again, not to pound a dead horse here. It's those beliefs that are holding them back. They've got to get through those limiting beliefs. They all say they'll say, "Hey, John, I want to get in. I want to do it. I want to make it happen. I want to emerge from this." But I still question if they really believe it in their heart, because there's beliefs in their mind that are telling them, you're not going to be able to do that. Nah, that's too hard. Yeah, you aren't made to be an entrepreneur. All these thoughts of negativity, these beliefs that people have turned into excuses that have led to actions that end in disastrous results. That's what's causing people financial chaos. And that's what's holding people back from really becoming the person they want to be and the person that they deserve to be and can be. So it's all in their head. So that's what I would say to someone living paycheck to paycheck. It's really interesting. The reason people are living paycheck to paycheck, it just really boils down to one thing. They make this amount of money and they spend this amount of money. Right? Right? They spend more money than they make. Period. End of story. We can turn this off now. Okay, but it's the same reason. It's the same reason people are unhealthy, or they're smoking, or they do drugs, whatever.
Yeah.
They know what to do. They just don't do it. So people are making this, and you could be making this, but you're still spending this. So this affects the rich too. Most people overspend how much they make. And I can tell you, I can look at someone's cash flow. I can look at all the money they spent over the last 3 months. And I can tell you I shouldn't say majority, but a lot of those expenditures are unnecessary. And they're meant, those expenses that people are making right now aren't really fulfilling their purpose or their meaning.
Boom.
They're dulling their pain. They're basically dulling their pain, those expenses.
That's not smart.
Those expenses are meant to impress somebody else, right?
Yeah.
Or to numb our pain somehow. Mm-hmm. And that could be alcohol, smoking, shopping.
Yeah.
We use shopping as a way to dull our pain, right?
Yeah.
So another thing that someone can do right now, and that's another exercise that I take people through, is go back and look at all of your expenses over the last 3 months. And look at each one and ask yourself, is that a need or is that just a want?
Wow.
And I'm not suggesting people get rid of all of their wants. Mm-hmm. I mean, I have a lot of wants that I don't need, that I spend money on, but I do it responsibly, and I do it within my boundaries, right? So I'm not saying eliminate all your wants, but go through each of those expenses, go through that and ask, is it a need or is it a want? If it's a need, ask yourself, is there a way to minimize that need? Could be your electricity, could be your cell phone bill, could be your car insurance. It could be a lot of things you need, but is there a cheaper way to do that? Mm-hmm. Do the same thing for your wants. Look at each one of those wants. The restaurants and the wine and the all that other, the clothes and the gadgets and all the electronics that you buy and memberships, going out to the movies. I'm not saying eliminate those, but again, is there a cheaper way to fulfill that want? And if you're going to the movies 4 times a month, maybe it's 2 times a month and Netflix the other 2 or something like that. You know what I mean? So that alone could really just awaken people and realize, oh my gosh, my wants are just out of control and they aren't fulfilling my purpose in life at all. Wow. And that awareness can really be eye-opening to a lot of people, as it has, I've seen firsthand. So
That's
I'm throwing a lot of exercises at people right now, but
love it.
The goal is, the goal is to keep people proactive right now, not go stir crazy. So
absolutely, and your exercises bring actually result that 98% of the people right now don't have.
Yeah, so exactly.
We all need to go through this again and again and again.
And by the way, this would be a great exercise for business owners, because I know I've seen firsthand a lot of businesses waste a lot of money on needless expenses. So good.
Yeah, something to consider. So important. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah,
What about the person who is, they are figuring out that they have these limiting beliefs and that it is a mindset issue, a wrong financial mindset. And they're asking the question, how long will it take for them to come out of this mindset and get the results? So spend the time in the bottom side of the line.
Yeah. So, I mean, the first step is realizing that those beliefs are holding them back. And from there, I mean, that's a game changer in itself. And I've seen when people realize what's holding them back, it just instantly gives them motivation and inspiration to move forward, whatever it is that they want to do. And so that could just be a huge springboard for people to go, oh my gosh, I've been holding myself back. It's not external that's holding me back. It's me that's holding myself back. Yeah. The next thing we could get into is a little bit is really understanding what's meaningful to people. This is the next step in my process. Yeah. And most people haven't really taken the time to understand what's deeply meaningful to them at the core of who they are. It's even deeper than your purpose. They're similar, but it's even deeper than your purpose. And so I spend a lot of time with people really helping them understand what is deeply meaningful to them. Because when I ask them, they'll say, oh, my kids, my job, my spouse, my health, my education, all this high level stuff. When we go deep and really drill down on each one of those, there's that aha moment where people realize, oh my gosh, it wasn't money after all that was really meaningful to me. It was something completely, entirely different. Wow. That's really driving me. It's really who I am in the world. And when people really uncover what's deeply meaningful to them at their core, again, it's another, and I use this term often, but I don't mean to downplay the significance of the term. When they get to the core of what's meaningful to them, it's a game changer moment, because they suddenly realize, oh my gosh, I've been spending my time there and chasing this and doing that with that person or these people or that group, and it has nothing to do with what's meaningful to me in front of me. Wow. And so what happens is when people really finally uncover that meaning, they go, wow, that's when they become laser focused on their goal or what they want to do. And that could be real estate, multi-level, whatever it is. They now have clarity and they put up guardrails and they eliminate all the noise that they've been wasting time and money on and energy on. And so I know we're getting a little sidetracked there, but I mean, that's something really, really important that can really spur people to answer your question. How long will this take, or when can we get out of it? There's really no time frame, right? It really depends on when you're mentally ready, because when you're mentally ready, things are just going to happen automatically. They will. They're just going to take off by themselves. It's going to be a force beyond your ability to hold back anymore.
Wow. And so, thank you so much.
That's so important. I love it. And I was thinking of a person who is like loud. It's driven and it's out there and is working a lot. And you would say they are like money driven. They thought that they were money driven. But with the concept now, with the new mindset that you are presenting us right now, to look into the purpose and the meaning, it can be actually a whole new world, right? So it can be something completely different. Can you give us an example, like a story or maybe like an example on that?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's in the book, there's 10 stories of people. Well, I shouldn't say all of them, but and thanks for the plug, by the way. There are 10 stories in there, most of which are by people that were just driven to make a ton of money. That was their focus, and they thought if they made money, their life would be just amazing. Turns out it wasn't amazing. Money was driving them crazy, actually. And so arguably you could say the rich are dealing with more financial stress and anxiety than the poor are, because that's all they're focused on. I know more rich people that are unhappy than I know poor people that are sad. It's amazing when you're controlled by the dollar signs. It could be absolutely devastating. Now, there's nothing wrong with being wealthy, by all means. Trust me. But it's important to keep that in perspective, what wealth is and what it is for. And that's why I say most people don't have a healthy relationship with money, which is driving them crazy. So I'm trying to think of a good story from the book. And maybe the first story in the book goes back to when I was in college, mowing yards for a living during classes. And I was working on a favorite house of mine in Hawaii, just this beautiful estate, something straight out of a magazine, overlooking the ocean, just beautifully landscaped. And I used to love working on this house. And one time I was talking to my boss, Larry, who I'm still in contact with today, and he's 20, he's still mowing yards. It's amazing.
That's really cool.
And he's just talk about a guy who, hardworking guy. He's not rich by any means, but he's done well mowing yards, and he's just happy as a clam. He's just a really positive, happy guy. Perfect example. So one day we were finishing up the job, and I asked Larry. I said, "Hey, Larry, what do they do for a living? How are they able to afford this?" I mean, I was 21 years old at the time, and I was just trying to figure life out, and going to school, and he's like, "John, do you really want what they have?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely. Don't you?" He goes, "Well, do yourself a favor." And he says, "Walk up and look inside the kitchen." And I said, "Larry," he says, "don't worry, they're not home. I can guarantee you they're not home." He knew them. He knew the couple, husband, wife, for a long time before, and he knew they weren't home. So I went up the yard, went up the stairs, and looked in the kitchen window. And all I could see is a couple of paper plates and a mattress on the floor with a crumpled up blanket. I was like, this is crazy. It's like they haven't even moved in yet. Then I walked down the stairs, and I could see in the garage it was just piled with trash bags. It looked like a dump, just trash bags piled. So I went back. I'm like, "Larry, what gives? Did they just move in?" He said, "No, they've owned this house for over a year." I said, "Well, what's the story?" He goes, "John, they're flat broke." So what are you talking about? How's that possible? He drives a nice. I've seen the car. They dress well, and they have this beautiful house, and they just put a swimming pool in the back. And he goes, "Yeah, they don't have any money." He got a job as a political consultant, making a lot of money. The politician lost. He lost his job.
Oh my God.
The wife was a up-and-coming realtor, and then suddenly she was stricken with cancer.
Oh, wow.
Their income was gone, but they spent like they were going to make this money forever. They leveraged. They had 2 mortgages on the house, riddled with credit card debt.
Yeah.
Why? Just so they can impress their children and their friends in the neighborhood, and they could have this appearance of wealth. And that's when Larry told me, he goes, "John," he goes, "you wouldn't believe how many of the houses we work on that are in similar situations to this. People are living a facade when in reality, behind the scenes, they're living paycheck to paycheck and barely struggling by, and they're a month away from going broke." That's when Larry told me, he goes, "John, you've heard this, keeping up with the Joneses." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, that's when he said that," and I learned the Joneses are broke too. I know we've already said that, but that's where I got that from.
Yeah.
So that's a classic example of someone that was so focused on an image based on the house they lived in, the car they drove, and the clothes they were wearing, that ruined their lives. As a result, they were living in the basement of the spouse's sister, hiding from creditors that were calling to get their money. It was just absolutely, and the wife was dealing with cancer, so their medical bills were piling up. I mean, it's just a tragic story that didn't need to happen. It did not need to happen. So,
did they come out of that?
Yeah, did they come out of it?
I don't know what happened. I went on. I don't know the end of the story. I should probably find out from Larry, but I can only imagine it wasn't good. Yeah. I do know that they had to move to the mainland. They had to leave Hawaii, walk away from their home. So if they did get back on their feet, it was a long, long slog to do so. Yeah, it was a really sad story.
It's really sad, and there are so many people like this story out there right now. You say so important things, and people who are like out there to impress or to have this facade and this fake image, and everything is like rotten from inside and outside. Like they're laughing. I mean, Vicky and me, we have been there when our family went through what we went through. So we know both sides of this type of stories. And I was thinking of the mindset of these people right now. What can they holding on to so that they can transform it? I mean, for sure, everybody needs to go on your website and and get all your resources. But yeah, what can they like start feeding their mind if all around they don't have any possibility in their head?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of resources for people right now, but again, I would just start with your beliefs, really, and then uncover your meaning. I think a lot of the answers people already have right now. They just need to unlock them. And once they do that, they can emerge. I mean, there's no magic bullet. There's no secret sauce. There's no magic podcast. It really boils down, except for this one. It really boils down. It really boils down to, and I mean that. I'm sincere. It really boils down to just changing your mindset. And I know it's difficult now, but if you take those exercises that we talked about, I think that's a huge step in allowing your mind to give you permission, because right now your mind is working against you. Give you permission to move forward and get out of this.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all kinds of. I mean, I'm reading so much right now. I'm a human sponge right now with books. Oh. I'm reading a great marketing book. I just read a book called Letting Go, and it's just I get absorbed in this stuff, and it removes so much of the noise, and it inspires me to learn new stuff and uncover new ideas and strategies and new ways to think about things.
Yeah.
So it's all there for people. So turn off the TV. That's the first thing.
So good. Yes. Absolutely. And you started this conversation with everybody has already the resources within them. Mm-hmm. I love that. Yeah. And being present to that, I feel that everybody is kind of having like a small hello knock on their heart that there is something, and with your strategies now they can go further, faster, for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and knowledge and your precious time from your busy schedule. We really honor and love you so much.
It's an absolute honor. Sorry to interrupt, but it's an absolute honor to be on here with you guys. It really is.
Thank you.
I've been looking forward to this.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. Where can people like find you? What is now new coming up? For you, so that people can get in touch with you.
Yeah, so all the information that I've mentioned and the resources are available on my website at johnmacgregor.net. There's podcasts on there. There's a lot of blogs that I've written. I've got 2 new blogs that'll come out today that are very timely for this particular situation, that I urge people to read that. And then, like I said, the resources, and then I'm of course on social media. So yeah, please reach out. And then we just launched our YouTube channel as well. So yeah.
Congratulations. Amazing.
Yeah, thank you very much. And then just again, another plug for the book coming out May 26th on Amazon. So
yay.
Amazing.
Thank you so much, John. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Much love.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it very much.
Appreciate you.
Take care.
Bye, guys. Bye, guys. Thank you, John.
Bye-bye.